Previously on The Devil on G-String. Kanan, I'll make sure that you pay. We stared at each other for a while. No need to panic. She has no proof. The keys will be found soon and all this commotion will die down soon enough. As long as there's no proof that Eiichi was in the faculty office at 9 last night, this affair will be buried in the darkness. Shut up, you idiot! It's all your fault anyway! We started to fight. You're projecting, son! I am very much divine!
Usami-san, あなたって実は賢いのね。
No kidding.
どうしたの？赤くなってるわよ。
いや、こういう時証明終了とか言うとかっこいいんじゃないかと思ってます。
She's adorable. I picked up a photograph. It's always been hidden deeply, far from prying eyes. A crude old photograph that doesn't have a frame. It's my mother, when she was young. It was taken by me.
髪超長え。貴様ら！絶対に許さんぞ！ガオ！二度と生き返らぬよ！腹渡を食い尽くしてくれるわ！
Are you looking for Maou?
浅井さんもですか？
Yes.
どうしてまた急に？
What can I tell Usami? I can't mention anything about the Azai Corporation. Last night, I received an email.
魔王から？どんな？
I can't say for certain that it was from the same Maou, but it said, "Oh, come, lovely child. Oh, come thou with me. For many a game I will play there with thee. Purely in hiragana." That was all.
間違いない。魔王です。浅井さんのおっしゃる通り、自分がこのトマンベツ市にやってきたのは魔王を追ってきたからです。
In pursuit? You've been following him for a while.
はい。それも何年も探していますよ。
And you still haven't found him.
残念ながら。ただ、最近になって魔王の犯罪の特徴がつかめるようになってきました。
Sami Haru, eh? The little hero has finally grown up. Let this girl pay for her parents' sins.
まずは勇者の実力を見せてもらおうか。
Let's play a little game. Usami Haru, how far can you go? Maou disappeared into the darkness of downtown Tomembetsu City with light footsteps. His head didn't ache anymore. And so it continues. Greetings, my name is Neosekken, and welcome back to my Let's Play of The Devil on G-String. So, going by the silhouette I see here on the right on this little dialogue box, I'm going to assume that we're now seeing this scene from Usami's perspective, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of interested to see what it's gonna be like inside her head rather than being a not-so-silent observer from the outside. Other than that, though, I do wonder what exactly are we gonna be in for with this particular scene here? Because I mean, toward the tail end of the last episode, we basically found out that our devil man here has basically found out that Usami's in town and clearly looking for him. So it's only a matter of time until we have some kind of confrontation with them, I'm sure. I'm just wondering when it's going to be and how it's going to happen, and, well, chances are, who the hell's going to die? Because, I mean, this is a criminal underworld that we're dealing with, after all, so I don't expect... I expect a possibility that there are going to be at least a few supporting cast character deaths along the way here, depending on choices I make. On this particular Sunday, like on any other, Central Boulevard hosted a sea of people. And as usual, Usami Haru walked to her part-time job with her head hung low. She moved forward slowly, ignoring the people around her.
だるそうだな、宇佐美。
ああ、店長、おはようございます。
A bearded man in an apron welcomed Haru.
髪切ってこいって言っただろ。
Well, if she's stuck in a penguin suit, does it really matter?
すいません。髪の話題には触れないでもらえませんか。本当怒りますよ。
ならやめてもらうしかないな。
Well, you're easy.
あ、ごめんなさい。
Haru bowed slightly. The manager shook his head in response as he opened a crate of perfumes.
宇佐美はなんでいつも制服で来るんだ。
可愛いんで。
化粧もしないのか。
すっぴんで十分いけるんで。
Well, at least she acknowledges it. The manager let out a disappointed sigh escape from his lips. Not a fan of the natural look, are you?
お前友達いないだろ。
めっちゃ多いっすよ。とりわけ店長のことは親のように思っています。
If I wasn't certain that she's lying through her teeth right now, I'd say that's actually rather sweet of her to say.
俺はまだ20代だ。
Well, have you heard of teen pregnancies before, Sir Manager? Haru yawned as she stretched her back and neck. After preparing herself for a few days' work, she entered the store.
さて、今日も客引きですか？看板持って大声出してればいいんすかね？
ああ、その前に。
The manager reached into the pocket of his apron.
なんすかそれ？
ついさっきロン毛パツキンの兄ちゃんがいきなりやってきたな。
It was a folded piece of paper. A letter, perhaps.
友達か？
ロン毛パツキンの友達はいません。っていうか、今時ロン毛パツキンとか言いません。
The manager was a good man despite, as Haru suspected, frequently lying about his age. Haru glanced absent-mindedly at the manager's beard as she unfolded the note. Is it a nice beard? And after scanning its contents, she couldn't help but raise an eyebrow. The penmanship itself gave Haru an eerie, unsettled feeling. Probably a devil man sending you a devil note. That's gonna be my guess for this. The writer had used a straight edge to trace his strokes, presumably to camouflage his true handwriting. Some letters had even been cut from magazines and newspapers. After taking a deep breath, Haru asked,
そのロン毛パツキンは何か言ってましたか？
なんだ急に。
The manager raised his eyebrows. The girl before him was not the Usami Haru he employed. Her piercing eyes fired straight through his entirety.
宇佐美春ってのがここでバイトしてるだろうって。
それだけっすか？
ん？うん。
Haru tensed up. Time seemed to have stopped. Her mind analyzed the facts with incomprehensible speed. And finally, as if to signify her understanding, she raised her head.
すいません店長、今日は休ませてください。
ちょっと待てよ、勝手なこと言うな。
Well, she just did.
すいません、急用でして。
She bowed deeply.
だいたいな、宇佐美は面接の時から常識がなさそうだったが。
すいません、非常識で。
Don't apologize for being weird.
まあ今まで一度も遅刻も早引きもしてないし、バイトなのに進んで残業してくれるし、頼んでもいないのに着ぐるみを作って宣伝をしてくれたりと、真面目なところもあるわけだが。
持ち上げてくれているところすみませんが、着ぐるみはただの趣味です。
The manager thoughtfully scratched his beard.
わかったよ。その代わり明日もがっつり働いてもらうからな。
Haru flashed a big happy grin.
ラブです、店長。
Haru dashed out into the busy streets. She parted the crowds like a boulder splitting through a fierce current. Without letting the deluge of people slow her pace, she marched forward through Central Boulevard. As she moved, Haru thought about the strange letter. "Oh come, lovely child, oh come thou with me, for many a game I will play there with thee." From this, the first line, Haru could tell this letter indicated a challenge. The rest of the letter served to ignite her heart into a mighty conflagration, for at its end was her mother's name. "I am here in Tomanbetsu City. Let us play a game of tag. I'll be attending the hunt immediately. To Karu." Koharu is the name of Haru's beloved mother. She was a violinist. She took Haru with her as she traveled all around the world, captivating the world over with her marvelous performances. Her mother was always so gentle, yet so strong.
Maou.
"Calm down," she told herself. "If you let your emotions get the better of you, then you've already lost." She couldn't believe that would actually contact her. I'm going to assume Maou? "Oh, come, lovely child. Come thou with me, for many a game I will play there with thee." In that particular Schubert piece, no matter how much the child cried out about the devil, his father refused to believe that the devil even existed. No one could find this fabled Urkelnig, this devil, this Maou.
私が必ずあぶり出してやる。
It's time. It's now noon. Wearing a black suit, Maou blended in naturally among the crowd of businessmen in the business district. As he walked among the people there, Mao's heart swelled with malicious anticipation. It's been a while since he sent out that letter of challenge, passed on from one person to the next. The letter should have arrived in Usami's hands by now. What would she do when she saw that letter? I wonder if she'll search around the city aimlessly. Maou looked at the cell phone in his hand. If Usami isn't a total idiot, she will soon call this number.
お手並み拝見といこうか。
Haru already knew where to go. She didn't waste a single minute. Even though the letter from Maou looked meaningless at first glance, he made sure to place a hint within those words. The coffee shop, Lapis Lazuli. The same place that Kyosuke took her yesterday. She pushed open the door and walked in. She immediately surveyed the premises. If Haru's reasoning was correct, Maou should have come by here. However, she could not find anyone like him among the customers. Just then, a man who appeared to be an employee called out to her.
いらっしゃいませ。お一人ですか？
Haru thought for a second before answering confidently.
私は宇佐美春というものです。失礼ですが、私宛てに伝言を預かっていませんか？
The host seemed relieved upon her words.
あなたが宇佐美さんですか？ええ、承っていますよ。
As he said this, he disappeared behind the counter. After a while, he returned with a small bag.
異様に髪の長い少女が現れたら、こちらの品物を渡してくれと頼まれていました。
Very specific description that he gave you. That could have applied to a whole number of people.
誰に？
Haru asked as she took the bag from him.
若い女の子でしたよ。その子も人に頼まれたと言っていました。
So, a greaser guy of blonde hair, and then a girl who was apparently asked by someone else to do this. Looks to me like Maou is sending out a network of people and leaving breadcrumbs all around town for Usami to find. Haru immediately realized that the young girl was one of Mao's children. Odds were he was using several intermediaries to get in contact with her. It'd be difficult to trace any of these agents back to Maou.
そういえば君は昨日も彼氏さんと来てくれてたね。
彼氏さん？
違うのかい？
恥ずかしいです。
Haru left the coffee shop after offering her thanks. As she walked out, Haru opened the bag. She found only a thin cell phone inside. She examined the cell phone from top to bottom. It was an old model of a disposable cell phone. Here on Central Boulevard, you can find a lot of unemployed foreigners selling these phones. Even if the police were to investigate this matter, they wouldn't be able to find the phone's original purchaser. It would appear that Maou knows how to cover his tracks. Clearly. Otherwise he wouldn't be as high up the food chain as he is. Haru turned on the phone. There was only one number listed. The number was listed as... Okay, so is question mark, exclamation mark supposed to just represent blank names / numbers in this game in general? Does he want me to call him? Oh, whoops, I thought that was internal dialogue. Her heart raced. She dialed the number with sweaty hands. At that moment, the din of the city no longer reached her ears. After precisely 10 rings, a weak vibration came from the left side of his chest. Maou grinned. Someone's calling. Trying to express his excitement, he took out the phone. He waited for his caller to speak first, as he imagined Usami's beautiful voice. What, you have a thing for her? He was taken aback by the abrupt voice. Maou quietly opened his mouth.
私からの手紙は気に入ってもらえたかな?
You're not obscured in dark enough shadow, so I can at least get a decent enough look at you. So it looks like you've got blonde hair. Yeah. Blonde hair, lighter blue suit. Not much, admittedly, but I think it's enough where if he were to actually show up in the crowd as a sprite character or something, I'd easily be able to pick him out. There was a brief pause, as if she were gathering her nerves. Usami spoke in a low voice.
宇佐美と少し遊びたかっただけだが。
ひどく幼稚なお遊びだったな。
手紙のことか。
Indeed, that was a bit too simple.
あの手紙は簡単だった。私はこのトマン別市に鬼ごっこをしよう。私は今より狩りに行く。
The next line caused Usami's voice to betray her. She could not conceal her anguish as she recited the final words.
お前の母は実に綺麗な女性だった。
He intentionally chose biting words, as if playing the part of a typical twisted villain. But this did not deter Usami Haru in the slightest.
着目したのは3行目の文だ。
私は今より狩りに行く。だな。
一見意味不明な文章だが、ここにちゃんと魔王の行き先が書いてある。
解説を期待してもいいのかな？
カオルエだ。宛名に見せかけて、お母さんの名前は実は重大なヒントだった。
This was a really simple puzzle. So, let me guess. If her name is meant to serve as also a hint towards Mao's location, all I know about Husami's mother is that she was apparently a famous violinist, so maybe some kind of music shop or music district, or maybe even a theater, or maybe outside a music hall. This was a really simple puzzle. I'd be quite disappointed if she couldn't even solve this. The purpose behind this puzzle lied elsewhere.
あれは不幸な事故だったのだ。決して私に悪意があったわけではない。
Accident? Again, he tried to play with her emotions.
文中の「か」を「る」に変える、それだけの内容だった。
Usami ignored Mao's words, while continuing to describe her solution to this simple puzzle.
そこで「私は今より狩りに行く」という文の「か」を「る」に置き換える。
母は最後までお前のことを案じていた。
すると「私は今より瑠璃に行く」となる。
娘だけは助けてくださいと何度も頭を下げた。
瑠璃とはラピスラズリの姉。
During this entire exchange, Usami Haru did not show a hint of anger.
お前の母は強かった。私は強い人間が好きだ。お前はどうなんだ。
Mao had hoped that his refusal to let the dead rest would unleash the darkness within this girl's heart. That would reopen long-closed wounds. So what, you just a sadist, or is there some special purpose behind all this taunting? Nevertheless, Usami said bravely,
お母さんは死んだ。私は生きている。生きて魔王を必ず捕まえる。
Mao felt satisfied. This girl is daring indeed.
いい答えだ。鬼ごっこを続けるとしよう。
Even as she listened intently to the phone, Haru continued searching for the location of Mao. Ignoring the demon's scathing words, she instead focused on the background noise. After a while, she discovered some clues.
なるほどな。
Haru said,
何か分かったのか。
お前の居場所をつかめそうだ。
それは興味深い。
今そこで誰かが街頭演説をしているだろう。
Haru again concentrated on the background noise. Part of the speech included the name of Tomanbetsu City's mayor.
気づいたか。
His tone implied it would be more strange if she hadn't.
今市長がどこで演説しているのか市役所に問い合わせてみるとしよう。
その必要はない。
何？
いいぞ。なかなかの注意力だ。
Haru finally understood the true reason behind Mao's challenge. He wants to test her. She was in a terrible situation. She didn't expect her opponent to find her workplace. Even though Haru still doesn't know his identity, Mao already knows hers.
私は今セントラルオフィスにいる。
バラしていいのか？
セントラルオフィスの場所はわかるか。引っ越してきて間もないのだろう。
よく知っているな。
お前のことなら何でも知っているさ。勇者。
何でも知っているという決まり文句は実は知らないこともあるので不安だという気持ちの裏返しだ。
Mao scoffed at that.
口も達者なようだな。
He certainly sounded happy, but his words seemed a little artificial. As a result, she still couldn't figure him out. And unfortunately for her, he was always guiding their conversations.
確かに私はもっとお前のことを知りたい。でなければ私に恨みを抱くウサに自分から接触してみようなどとは思うまい。
Even when Mao talks about himself, he never gives anything important away.
セントラルオフィスに広めの公園がある。
それがどうした？
園内の掲示板の前に来てもらおうか。
そこに行けば魔王に会えるのか？
気が早いな。
お互いの理解を深めるためにも顔を合わせて話し合った方がいいと思うが。
魅力的な提案だが丁重に断らせてもらう。
It seems Mao has no intention of showing his face.
私を追ってこい。ウサンだ。
This is a challenge.
お前に資格があれば相手をしてやろう。
And with that, he hung up the phone. Haru sprang into action. She caught the sight of the Sanu Corporation headquarters. The park was nearby, somehow escaping the shadow of the gargantuan skyscraper. It was quite a beautiful scene. The park was surrounded by an assortment of bustling businesses, making its presence even more pronounced. The bulletin board was at the center of the park. Under normal circumstances, it would display the general guidelines and park rules. Today, though, it's covered in red graffiti. At first glance, it appears to be the work of local delinquents. Close examination, however, reveals that the markings are actually a rather detailed passage. It was clear that this graffiti was the work of Maou. From here, the hero must choose one of 3 paths. I guess that means 3 choices. For me, 1 path leads to Maou, 1 path leads to hell, 1 path leads to heaven. There will be more information on each path. Take care to examine it thoroughly. Truth is written on the path to Maou. Lies are written on the path to hell. Truth, lies, and half-truths are written on the path to heaven. Now, can you find where I am?
3つの道。
Haru immediately began to search around the park. As was indicated, there should be a message located near the path. She soon found that message near the park's northern entrance. There was a steep staircase leading to the business district. The handrail of the stone staircase bore a short note. In the same glaring red paint and long, slender lettering as the message in the park. The exit of subway station 10 leads to heaven. She could just barely make it out. You see, I don't know if he's even telling the truth about this here. For all I know, it could lead straight to hell. But then again, I'm also thinking, if his goal isn't to be straightforward about the paths here, since he is commonly referred to as the devil, maybe the path to Maou is the path of hell. So maybe go down that path, and then you'll be able to find Maou. Haru immediately absorbed the information. Station 10 just so happens to be Central Boulevard's main station. Haru could see several red-haired youngsters loitering near the exit. Haru carefully examined her surroundings until she finally saw another message on the handrail. Warehouse number 3 along the docks of the Western District leads to hell.
西区の港。
It was too far to reach by foot. However, if she doesn't go to that warehouse, she won't be able to solve the puzzle. Tag indeed. Do you plan to have me run around the entire city, Maou? Haru walked down the stairs. There was just as many people in this underground passageway as there were on the surface. She bought a ticket and now waits the subway to the Western District. For someone as poor as Haru, the 250 yen ticket really is a painful expense. If it's that painful an expense, then I gotta wonder, how do you manage to afford all the materials you need to make that penguin costume? After about an hour, she finally reached the harbor. The winter sea quietly splashed against the docks. This part of the city is deserted on Sundays. Thus, she found the warehouses without fighting the crowds she had earlier. The third warehouse's number was clearly marked on its closed shutters. Haru searched for a message from Maou. She found a suspicious slip of paper on the shutter. This is not the path to heaven. After reading this final clue, Haru pinched her forehead. Now she finally has all the pieces. Which of the 3 paths should she take? Number 1, the staircase near the park. Number 2, the exit of subway station 10. 3, warehouse number 3 along the docks of the Western District, and the path to Maou, the path to heaven, the path to hell. Which message corresponds to which path? Obviously, she needs to pick the path to Maou. In addition, truth is written on the path to Maou. Lies are written on the path to hell. Truth, lies, and half-truths are written on the path to heaven. Now Haru thinks about where she found each note. Number 1, on the handrail of the stairway near the park was the note. The exit of subway station leads to heaven. Number 2, beside the exit of subway station was the note. Warehouse number 3 along the docks of the Western District leads to hell. At the third warehouse district in the Western District was the note. This is not the path to heaven. After sorting everything, she began to analyze the information. Suppose number 1 is the path to Maou. In that case, the message found there about the subway station, that is the path to heaven, would have to be true.
さて、正解は
To find the answer, you only need to do some calculations. Just as she was in the middle of thinking, Haru's cell phone rang. Do you mind? I'm calculating. Maou must have calculated the time she needed to reach here, and timed his call accordingly.
ちょうど着いたところだ。
天国に続くのはこの道ではない。このメッセージを確認したか？
ああ、ちょうど今見たところだ。
Maou glanced at his watch.
手の込んだいたずらだな。魔王が街の各地にこんな落書きを残している様子を想像すると笑えてくる。
私が直接作業したわけではないが、楽しんでくれたのなら幸いだ。
魔王に協力する人間がいるんだな。
人間はよく悪魔に見せられる。そんなこと、全てのメッセージを確認したら。
ああ。
Maou thought to himself, this is just a test. Any capable person should be able to find the correct answer.
よく考えるんだな。私は。
If you can find the answer in 5 minutes, then I'll give you a passing grade.
ではな、勇者。
Just as he was about to hang up,
第三倉庫だ。どの道がどこに続くかは6通りの場合がある。その中で魔王にたどり着く道のメッセージに嘘が書いてあることになる組み合わせと、地獄に続く道のメッセージに真実が書いてあることになる組み合わせを除けば、おのずと正解が見えてくる。
Maou listens to Usami attentively. Indeed, anyone with a good sense of logic could quickly figure out the answer. Guess I don't have a good sense of logic. That sucks. If you discard all the unnecessary information, it really is just a simple equation. As Usami implied, one can just lay out the 6 possible scenarios and cross out all the ones that cannot be true. That said, Usami figured it all out in an instant. Plus, she didn't need to use a pen and paper. She solved it all mentally.
どうした魔王？数学の授業はもうおしまいか
Maou did not respond. She really has a rare talent. A faint smile appeared at the corner of his lips.
ウサミ。はい。
Maou finally acknowledged Usami Haru as an opponent. From the research he had one of his people do on her, she did not seem to have any power, wealth, or connections. But she possessed a keen mind, seemingly unbelievable for a teenage girl. Maou had thought that his only opposition would come from large, powerful organizations, like the police and influential corporations. In addition, this talented girl had been looking endlessly for Maou. Initiating contact with her this morning may have been a bit of a rash decision. His defeat may now lay in a place he had never expected. Usami would quickly break through the other games Maou had prepared. Well, it's not a big deal. Yet. She's still just a student. And it's probably safe to say that she has almost no information on me yet. However, Maou knew firsthand how far the combination of a talented mind, supported by unwavering conviction, can bring someone. This hero may indeed find a weakness in Mao's carefully constructed plan. On one hand, Maou felt a rush of excitement from witnessing such a powerful opponent. On the other, in order to not lose to his opponent, Maou felt a surge of his fighting spirit. The sun had set only moments ago. In its place came the strong winter wind, carrying a chill and dark clouds in its wake. Specks of light snow fell on the shoulders of Haru's school uniform, before quickly dissipating. Pedestrians flooded the business district. At the bottom of the government office stairway, Haru awaits Mao's appearance. He will come. After that exchange, Maou played another 3 hours of tag with her. Again and again he tested her mental prowess. In order to make herself worthy of being Mao's opponent, Haru ought to have shown enough of her strength to gain the right to challenge Maou. Oh, come, lovely child. Come thou with me, for many a game I will play there with thee. Maou may think this is just a game, but this is a battle Haru will put all her strength into. Mao's final question was this. If Maou appears at the bottom of the stairs of the government's office, then Hiro is not at the top of the stairs. Thus, if Hiro is at the top of the stairs, will Maou not appear at the bottom of the stairs? The conclusion. If Hiro is at the top of the stairs, Maou will not appear at the bottom. If she wants Maou to appear, Haru must not be at the top of the stairs. Basically to inflate his ego, right? Of basically have him literally look down on you. In order to meet with Maou, Haru needs to stay at the bottom of the stairs. Only he's taking too long. She cannot see anyone like a Maou among the passing people. Did I make a mistake? Just as she started to panic, she heard someone call her name. Haru looked up the stairs.
人間は面白いよな。雑踏の中、どれだけ周りが騒がしくても、自分の名前を呼ばれるとつい振り返ってしまう。
Haru realized that she had indeed made a mistake. She figured as long as she waited downstairs, Maou would appear there. During their prolonged game of tag, Haru had grown so focused on solving the numerous riddles he presented. So focused that she had forgotten that Maou may have set a trap within the riddle themselves. Maou now drew her attention freely, without worry, from a place where she could not see him clearly. A man in a large black coat spoke those seductive words. But he stood with his back to the light of the street lamp, washing his features into blackness. Never mind, I guess he's not a blondie after all. Is this man Maou? Or just one of his underlings? No, why am I doubting myself? He is a blondie, this must be an underling.
あなたね。
Haru asked the mysterious person.
お前だな。
He should be a man. She couldn't really discern the voice at all, though. She thought she may even vaguely recognize the voice, and she couldn't even discount the possibility of the voice belonging to a woman.
私が春よ。
The girl straightened her posture.
私が魔王だ。
She realized her whole body was trembling. Haru clenched her fists to suppress her apprehension. The fear she held slowly drew near. This is no longer a game. The battle has begun.
けど真実遠いものさ答え追ってゆくけれど掴む術はない微笑みに揺れる心の闇幻の夢どんな痛み放ちたいの今君が望む全てが受け入れられなかったとして夕闇に何を望む君はいて僕は僕でいたいだけさ
Took it long enough for us to finally get an intro. Oh, hello. I guess we're now on the title screen. Well then. Only one thing to do, I guess. Did we just cut forward in time a little bit or something? School hours are actually my hours off. Even though today's Monday, I skipped school in order to perform my prioritized tasks. Today I'll be investigating the upcoming redevelopment of Eastern District. Following the success of the theme parks downtown, they hope to draw a swarm of large-scale entertainment businesses into the region. Though the Azai Corporation doesn't directly deal in real estate, projects like these still bring people knocking on our doors. When you're a front for organized crime, your special brand of land sharking and property acquisition is always in demand. However, I'm very sorry. This is simply an accounting error. I apologize for the mistake. Ever since my meeting with Usami 2 days ago, my mind has been wandering. Right. I'm headed there now to look for myself. I couldn't concentrate at all yesterday, and my head felt sluggish, almost like I wasn't fully awake yet. Which is quite odd, considering I went straight to bed after leaving the coffee house on Central Boulevard. This is all Usami's fault. I suddenly thought of Usami in her penguin suit. After hanging up the phone, I watched the passing crowd with apathy. When I walked past the shop Usami worked at, I saw that she wasn't there. Oh, yes, she is. What? A voice suddenly called out to me from behind my back.
最高ですか?
I'm going to assume it's not you capturing the devil man, right? What is this all of a sudden?
いや別に行ってみたかっただけです。
You just keep being you. You're entertaining in all the right ways. Is she retarded? Well, I'd say compared to her, you certainly are.
それよりどうしたんすか？スーツなんか着て。
What about you? Why aren't you at school?
自分は今日は休みです。体調が優れないので。見てくださいよ。めっちゃうつうつとしてるでしょ。
Yeah, if I turn my head, a full 90-degree angle, that smile of yours does look like an upside-down frown, so yeah, with a little bit of effort, I can see the gloominess. You always look gloomy. Go get a haircut.
Eh?
An unusually sincere look of surprise erupted on her typically smug face. What?
傷つきました。
Why?
髪は浅井さんのために伸ばしてるんです。
Why would you think I like long hair?
とにかく傷つきました。どれくらい傷ついたかというと、今日の晩ご飯もおごっていただきたいくらいです。
Deal. She just waited to con a meal out of me. That's not going to happen. I'm busy right now.
お仕事ですか？お父さんのお手伝い。
Well, if I don't help Daddy, Daddy is gonna spank me harder than he's ever spanked me in my entire life, and I might not even survive it. So, yeah, I got no choice. My hesitation was clearly a mistake.
なるほどなるほど。学園を休んでまで頑張ってらっしゃるんですね。
Do you have some business with me? Usami laughed. That smug smile was back on her face.
昨日魔王に会ったんですよ。
She spoke so nonchalantly. What did you say? You met Maou?
遠巻きに会いました。
Huh?
かなり見下ろされました。だいぶ逆光でした。
In other words, you didn't see his face.
声は交わしました。
Really? Usami is rather eccentric, so no one can be sure when she's being serious or not.
ところで、浅井さんは昨日もお仕事されてたんですか？
She changed the topic again. I can't help but feel that she's trying to corner me. I was. What about it?
浅井さんのお仕事は大抵電話で済むんですかね？
Well, occasionally something comes up that can't be resolved over the phone, but that's neither here nor there. Tell me about Maou.
昨日はどちらに？
McDonald's. What's she getting at? I went to Central Boulevard in the afternoon.
そうっすか。
Other than that, I was home most of the day.
誰かと会ったりしていましたか？
What's this all about? It's as if you're checking my alibi. I only meant it as a joke, but Usami responded with a confident smile.
魔王はこの町を知り尽くしている人物です。どの路地が最小限の時間で姿を消すのに適しているのか、どんな場所が相手に顔を見られずに逃走できるのか、
Well, maybe like
そういう
you.
ことを熟知しています。
Well, I suspect the reason for that is, like you, he's got a very, very powerful observation skills. Usami stared intently into my eyes. Is he a man?
おそらく。しかし、綺麗な声でした。ああいう声を出せる女性がいてもおかしくはないと思わせられるような中性的な魅力もありました。
Well, if he's not a man, then he's not exactly a miserable pile of secrets, now is he? She tiptoed around the question. I guess she wanted to give her opinion without coming to any definite conclusions yet. So he escaped.
残念ながら。
I took out my wallet from the breast pocket of my suit. I want to hear everything in detail. I motioned toward the coffee house of my chin.
お仕事はいいんですか？
Don't worry about it. Well, technically, part of my job right now is looking into this Maou figure. You got information, and you recently encountered him, so technically I am doing my job right now. Or at least one of them. Surveying the Eastern District can wait until this evening.
じゃあ自分カツ丼で。
They don't have it.
ああ、つゆだくがいいです。
I pretty much heard the whole story.
市内をだいぶ走り回りましたよ。
Usami played along with Mao's games and performed fairly well.
最後はしてやられました。姿を見られない場所に誘い込まれているとは気づきませんでした。
In the end, what did Maou want to do?
おそらく私に興味を示したんだと思います。
Interest? Why? Why would someone with the power to circulate drugs in secret be interested in a high school girl?
因縁があるんですよ。
What happened?
それを言うにはまだまだ友情が足りません。
Come on now. Weren't you the one that said we should find Mao together? Usami shook her head.
いいですか、浅井さん。我々は敵と書いて友と読むような関係です。利害関係の一致から協力しているだけです。魔王という強大な敵を倒すために一時的に力を貸し合っているのです。それ言い過ぎか。仲間なんだけどお互い秘密が多すぎていまいち信用できないだけか。
Well, I guess that would be a more accurate description, if anything. Your rambling is annoying. Your face is annoying.
ちなみに浅井さんは敵だった時は強いんだけど仲間になった途端に弱くなるタイプかと。
Not exactly sure what she meant by that, but she seems to be mocking me.
まあすいません。自分は魔王に恨みがあるとだけ言っておきます。
Well, I have a grudge against him too. Gonzo came down hard on me because of that guy. I processed all the information. So Mao already knows everything about you, from your job to this coffee house. He even knows your nickname, Hero.
ですね。
On top of that, he prepared graffiti in advance and used his lackeys to relay messages to you. He probably uses the same kids to move his drugs around. Mao must be a person of a lot of power.
どういう意味で実力者ですか？
Well, at the very least, he's got a lot of money. He has someone working to gather information on you, doesn't he?
あるいは私の近くにいる人間こそが魔王なんでしょう。
I see. So that's why she was interrogating me about yesterday.
まあ身元の割れない携帯電話を用意するあたりも周到ですよね。
He must be quite familiar with the ways of the underworld. I'm beginning to get a faint picture of what this guy is like. What about his age and stature?
年は若いと推測してみます。
Because his voice sounded young?
それもありますが、行動に子供のような遊び心が伺えるからです。
I guess he could put it that way. If he wasn't a little brat, he wouldn't be playing hide and seek along Central Boulevard.
断定はできませんが。
Of course, many successful businessmen also have a playful mind. Some people don't forget their youthful passions. In fact, many people have found unexpected success when branching out into work that, as an observer would put it, allows them to play around.
浅井さんのお仕事の話ですか？
Well, I only just happen to talk to people like that by tagging along with my dad. I averted my eyes without thinking.
浅井さんは仕事のことになると目つきが変わりますね。
Of course, because we're talking about money. Money isn't a game.
心なしか声色も変わるような気がします。
Tsubaki once told me that too. Like I said, my work involves handling money. During negotiations, I speak from the chest to make it harder for them to get a read on me.
そうですか。
I'm being stared at. I sighed and said, You think I'm Mao? Usami nodded without hesitation.
可能性はゼロではないです。
Well, unless our protag has split personality disorder, I'm voting a strong no on that one. Does my voice resemble Mao's?
それは何とも言えません。ただ、浅井さんの声は時として変わるなと思っただけです。
If you want to talk suspects, I'd say we can't even rule you out yet.
いや、それはないっす。
And why not?
私自身が魔王ではないと知っているからです。
That sounds exactly the sort of thing that a devil man would say. Well, I also know I'm not Mao. God damn it, you just outed me out as a potential devil man.
説得力がありませんね。
Neither are you. Usami smiled wryly. Okay, how about this?
はい。
Let's make a deal.
最低限、私たちはお互いを疑わないということですか？
It's good to know that we understand one another.
別に私は浅井さんを疑っているわけじゃありませんよ。
But you just said you suspected me of being Maou. I'd like to believe that myself, but if you put down a security deposit, then I might believe you.
まあわかりました。何にせよ浅井さんのことは信用していますよ。無条件で。
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Surely no one would trust someone they barely know unconditionally. Thank you very much. Usami stood up from her seat.
それじゃあ自分学園行きますんで。
Aren't you taking the day off?
体調が悪いんで休もうかとも思いましたけど、やっぱりサボりはまずいと思うので。
I suddenly realized something. You're actually being serious about not feeling well, aren't you?
まあ病院に寄るつもりでした。
Do you have a weak constitution or something? I never would have guessed.
いえ、たくましくも可憐なはずですが、スポーツは苦手です。
I'm not sure what she's getting at. Are you going to call a cab?
お金ないので。
Tell me when your payday is and I'll let you borrow some money.
取り立てるってことですか？遠慮しておきます。
Alright then. Well, let's stay in touch. There's some sort of history between Usami and Maou. She said it was a grudge, but I'm not sure about the details. However, if they have such a history, there's always a chance that Maou will attempt to come into contact with her again in the future. As long as I keep up a good relationship with Usami, I might be able to pick up some important information.
どうしました？考え事ですか？
Huh? Well...
何を考えているか当ててみましょうか。
Sure. I've almost taken a shine to that cleverness of hers.
浅井さんにとって私がどれくらい役に立つか。
Seems getting closer won't be a waste of my time. By bizarre coincidence, I ran into Tsubaki. It was just as I was about to head for Central Boulevard's subway station.
やっぱり浅井くんだ。
And hello to you, Tsubaki. She can see my face too clearly for me to pretend I didn't hear her. Oh, are you going home now?
学園どうしたの？
I knew she was going to ask me that. You see, I'm worried that no matter what I tell her, she might get the brilliant idea to come follow me and then get mixed up within all my criminal business. So, you know, I'd be honest and tell her that I'm cutting. She'll be worried about me cutting here, and thus she'll try to follow me and then see what I'm getting up to. Otherwise, I make up a reasonable excuse, hope that she'll fall for it, and if she doesn't, then it's just gonna end up probably leading to a similar result anyway. In that case, I guess it wouldn't really matter than what I say here, then, huh? But, like I said, she is... It's probably a bad idea, but I'm gonna tell her I'm cutting. I was cutting class.
Huh?
Tsubaki froze. Her blank look resembled that of a child who was left behind by her parents.
サボるってどういうこと？
Seems the very concept of cutting class isn't in this girl's head. Well, I just went out to have some fun.
ダメだよ。それはいけないことだよ。
Sorry. You are the class representative, after all.
クラス委員だからじゃなくて心配してたんだよ。
Worried?
うん。病欠って担任の先生から聞いてたから。
Really?
でも病気じゃなくてよかった。今度からはちゃんと本当のこと教えてね。
She had such a warm gaze. For some reason, I couldn't help but avert my eyes. You live in the Eastern District, right?
うん、そうだよ。
Why don't we go part way there together then?
え、東区に用事でもあるの？
Yes, I need to visit someone.
お友達？
Well, you could put it that way.
浅井くんはお友達多いな。
We walked amidst a sea of people toward the subway station's ticket counter. Land grabbing. To put it bluntly, that's my business here. In the Eastern District, where Tsubaki lives, a large-scale ski resort is under development. However, that area used to be nothing but farmland. The landowners there have owned the property for ages. One company was very particular about buying all the land quickly. After some investigation, I discovered it was a subsidiary of the Sanu Corporation. If you ever think about doing something big in this town, Sanu's omnipresent name will come up sooner or later. The Sanu Corporation is a perfectly clean company, of course. But if there's a problem they can't settle cleanly, they'll leave the dirty work to us. 5 families. Our contract with Sanu requires us to drive 5 families away from their land. Horrible.
浅井くん、そろそろ着くよ。
But you're not exactly good people, are you? So can't say I'm surprised. The subway exit opened near a small park. This place is different from Central Boulevard. The sea of people is nowhere to be found. Sure is cold out here.
山が近いからかな。
As Tsubaki was talking, my cell phone vibrated inside my breast pocket. Sorry, I gotta take this. It's Miki-chan. Hello? Yes. I see. Not a problem. Then how about next week? Okay.
電話、
Yeah, it was a friend.
ひょっとして、彼女さん？
I don't have a girlfriend.
前にいるって言ってなかったっけ？
I don't remember ever saying that.
本当にいないの？
Nope, still single. I'm not the type for serious commitment.
そっか、そうなんだ。私、勘違いしてた。
You seem awfully relieved by this news. She seemed embarrassed, but also kind of happy.
彼女さんいるなら、あんまり一緒に歩いたり、CD 買いに行ったりしたらダメかなって思ってたの。
Even if I did have one, that much would be fine.
うん。でも、悪い気がしてたの。
She took a deep breath to show her relief. Apparently to Tsubaki, something of that extent was a major offense. I have some pretty complicated feelings about this one. To be honest, I kind of find her a little hard to deal with. She doesn't do any of the things a normal person would deliberately do to be liked by others. And naturally, when a person is too kind, you have a hard time believing they're genuine.
どうしたの？何か不機嫌？
Even so, she has good intuition. Well, I'll be going now.
どこに行くの？
The address is... Her eyes widened when she heard me repeat the street and number. Don't tell me. You're one of the families I gotta drive out. Tsubaki had always been an interesting girl. She possessed so much of what I lacked. The thought of becoming deeply involved with her crossed my mind.
あ、それって。
Coincidence dictated that this thought would become reality.
うちの家の住所だよ。
Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that. Chapter 2. Kidnapping spree. Kidnapping spree, huh? He stands there, pondering. It's been almost an hour. Maou closes his eyes. There is no heating, and the ice-cold wall pressed against his back. With such indifference to the cold, it's as if he were a monk who had suppressed all sensation from the outside world. Maou already has a plan. When the plan is carried out, a crime of historical proportions will be brought upon this very city. However, the time is still not right. All the preparations have been made. All that remained was to simply await the perfect moment. It is, to use a cliché, like the calm before the storm. Are there any loose ends left to be neatly tied together? Did he miss anything during the planning phase? He pondered this over and over. He always arrived at the same answer. There's nothing left to do. Right now, his best course of action is to lay low. Usami Haru. If there is any unknown factor in the plan, it's her. Maou used a detective agency to check up on Usami Haru. That long-haired girl is quite different from normal high school students. He had experienced her incredible intelligence firsthand. The detectives had searched her personal contacts and background as well. In the process, they uncovered that Usami Haru had another side to her. However, it's not something that could threaten Mao's plans. What need is there to fear her? Well, you said it yourself. When you're very intelligent and you've got a strong will backing you, you'd be pretty impressed of how far people can go. I really wouldn't underestimate her. There are plenty of other people who also hold a grudge against Maou. He heard the sound of the elevator moving.
遅くなって申し訳ない。
Somaya bowed deeply. A hint of sweat rolled down his forehead as he stood up straight.
東区の開発の件で会議が長引いてしまってね。
麦焼酎はいかがでしたか?
He stared at Somaya's red face. He spoke to him with his eyes. It was not a meeting, but a party, wasn't it? I also did my homework about you, about how much you love that liquor. Somaya breathed out words drenched in the smell of alcohol.
すまなかった。大事な相談だったんだ。何しろ国土交通省の役人も来ていたのだから。
Sure.
結構なことです。ただ、時間が有限であることをお忘れなきよう。
The conversation immediately switched gears. Somaya is now quite submissive to Maou. Seeing him soundly defeat even the genius from Boston apparently left quite the impact on him. Somaya doesn't know anything about Maou. Name, age, history. All of his information had been fabricated. A true cipher, huh? You just exist. But in some businesses, it's better not to know your partner's true nature. After all, it's easier to escape the law that way, if it happened to come to that. Somaya tried to be understanding. Mao's biggest contribution to the Sino Corporation was the smuggling of firearms. Since before the war, the nation's firearm industry was monopolized by a single company. Mao's prowess is what helped break this monopoly on the Japanese firearms market. The Japanese tax on imports was harsh, but Maou saw a weak point in their low tax on exports. By establishing a base in the ports of Niigata and Fukuoka, I have no idea how to even pronounce that thing. Fukuoka? and by forming ties with miscreant foreigners who had past experience in doing business with organized crime groups, he formed a route between North Korea and Hong Kong. There were a number of huge risks involved. He knew the country's crisis management was something not to be underestimated. But regardless of how powerful his enemy may be, it was something he had to do.
いや、改めて君の鋭さには驚かされるよ。
They finished talking about business. They covered up topics like how to cover up the weapons, the method in which to smuggle them, which people they need to win over to their side. Everything had been taken care of.
一つ聞いてみたいのだがね。
Somea finally relaxed.
君の目的は何なのだ？
目的？
君ほどの男だ。金ではないのだろ？
The alcohol must have been wearing off. Somea looked a little tense.
そろそろ長い付き合いになる。君の夢の一つでも聞かせてもらえんかね。
That look in his eyes not bad at all, he thought. From the very beginning, Maou had never taken Somea lightly. True, he did think he was easy to manipulate, but not to the point where he would hold contempt for him. When Somea ascended to the position of Director of Senior Management for the Sano Corporation, he took the organization in a whole new direction. As part of a policy of rapid expansion, the company invested most of its proceeds into new and different ventures. Of course, since the new plan involved giving lower priority to employee bonuses, there was no shortage of opposition to it. But all of this, even working with Maou and expanding into a legal business, was all for the sake of the company.
私の父は戦中派の人間でね。この会社のために懸命に働き、骨をうずめていった。私は父が大きくした会社を守っていかねばならないんだよ。
ご立派な志です。
He said that sincerely. Even though people call him Maou, Maou never actually thought of himself as some sort of overbearing existence. He knew that Somea, being over 30 years older than himself, had no doubt had certain capabilities which he himself could not compare.
夢などありません。
謙遜するな。君の目は戦いを前にした父の目に似ている。大きな志を持った男の目だ。
夢などありません。本当です。
He said this absolutely. Somea lowered his head. The man seemed to be trying to hide his disappointment.
まあいい。何にせよ、金で動かない人間は扱いが難しい。
何かお困りのようですね。
鋭いな、君は。なに、東区の用地買収がね、思うように進んでないんだ。
土地を手放したくない人間がいるんですね。
相場の2倍の金を出すと言っても聞いてくれない。あまりに困ったんで、プロを雇うことにしたよ。
Trying to intimidate them. Probably specialists in organized violence. So Somea likes these brute methods too. Nowadays, though, land sharks can't use the same kinds of violent methods they did back during the bubble. It's understandable that he'd have trouble making a settlement.
あと、たったの一区画なんだがね。
Somea took out his notebook. Addresses and blueprints were scattered throughout the pages. He flipped to a page which listed the families unwilling to move out.
いずれにせよ、私には関係のない話です。
Maou flung his hand to cast away the request.
これはすまなかった。君の手を煩わせるつもりはない。
染谷室長が手を煩わせるほどのことでもないでしょう。
Indeed, it would be more appropriate for a section chief at a subsidiary company to be worrying over a matter like this. He was well aware of how much effort the Sano Corporation had invested in the Eastern District recreational project. Still, Somea was a director of senior management at corporate headquarters. It would be hard to swallow that this project was so important to him. Certainly there was more to the story.
国土交通省の方とお会いになっているそうですね。
君にはかなわんな。そう、株だよ。
What's DOT? Insider trading. Indeed, if this project proceeds successfully, the value of the stock would skyrocket. And fast. So May obviously passed on some information to bribe the official. Just then, Mao picked out a name from Someya's notebook.
三輪椿。
He closed his eyes. Miwa Tsubaki. Where had he heard this name before?
どうかしたのかね。
いえ、
気分が悪そうだが。
Oh yes. She's an acquaintance of Usami Haru.
この三輪椿という少女は自由ヶ崎学園に通っているのでは。
知り合いかね。
Mao chuckled. What should he do with his free time before the storm? The answer to the object of his ceaseless pondering had come together in an instant. He could use Tsubaki to corner Usami Haru, forcing her to submit.
染谷室長、私に任せていただきたい。
Somea caught his breath.
どういう風の吹き回しだ。
南米のテロリストの話です。旅客機の中にテロリストが狙う要人がいました。テロリストは要人を殺害するだけでは気が済まなかった。何の罪もない旅客を巻き添えにして飛行機を墜落させました。要人と同じ飛行機に乗っていたという理由だけで。
I'm sure they're cooking quite nicely in a special spot of hell. Mao's lips twisted into a frown. Negative emotions stirred within him. Something about terrorist incidents like these bother you, good sir? Emotions he could not suppress. Just as Mao had said, he does not have a dream himself.
私の心にあるのはただ一つです。
さっきから何を言ってるんだ。
すべてお任せください。
Mao turned away from Somea. His whole body trembled. There was one thing, one emotion, able to force Mao into action. Revenge. Only revenge. Somebody wronged you at some point? In the end, I never went to Tsubaki's house yesterday. Well, I'll just have to go some other time. I had to leave Tsubaki due to an emergency.
おはよう、浅井くん。
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about yesterday. Tsubaki, unaware of the conflicting thoughts inside me, gave her usual smile. Do you think I could come over to your house and hang out sometime soon?
どうして急に？
So, does that mean I can't?
いや、いいけど。
What's up? It's unusual for you to appear so flustered.
ちょっと恥ずかしかったから。
Embarrassed?
うちってちょっと特殊だから。
Odd in what way? Oh, now I really want to go. How about today? I smiled and moved closer to her.
いや、うちに来るっていうことは、お父さんにも紹介しなきゃいけないよ。
Is your dad kind of scary? So what? It's not like I'm asking for your hand in marriage.
でも、 お父さんとか勘違いして舞い上がっちゃうよ。
Protective dad.
何困ってるの、椿ちゃん。
Hello, green hair. Eiichi made an appearance out of nowhere.
いや、浅井くんがうちに来たいって。ダメなの？ダメじゃないけど恥ずかしいなって。じゃあ僕も一緒に行ってあげるよ。
I would put this boy on a leash and make sure that he stays within sight at all times. What? Look, kid, I don't need to tag along.
じゃあ自分も一緒に。
Don't butt in where you aren't welcome. Oh, don't listen to him. You're always welcome, Usami. Why did the two of you suddenly pop up anyway?
ただ自分あれなんすよね。今日はちょっとだけバイトなんで少し遅くなるかもしれません。
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, hey, you gotta make a paycheck like everybody else, so hey.
僕もペットに餌あげてから行くね。
あ、じゃあ一緒に行きましょう、絵手吉さん。
いいよ。駅で待ち合わせしない？
Tsubaki raised her head.
みんな一緒なら。
やったわ。
Well, whatever. I made a few phone calls between classes. I needed to discuss the Miwa family. I was getting some heat for being too slow with my work. Oh. Hello. Yes, this is Kyosuke. Please go there tonight again. Yes. Under no circumstances are you to get too rough. Is that understood? I called the company and asked them to send some people over to Tsubaki's house tonight. I need to go check out the place too. There must be a reason they're not selling. The whole eastern district is a rural area. Indeed, the property value there has risen tremendously due to everyone's attention on the upcoming ski resort, but it's still nowhere near the value of downtown property. They must have a lot of guts to turn down an offer several times higher than the property's worth. My job is to uncover the reason behind their persistent refusal and then destroy that reason, little by little. Well, what if it's just a simple matter of, well, this is just our family's land. Maybe they have a little home business going on there that's been passed on through the generations. Would you be willing to destroy someone's family business here just to get some land? Who am I kidding? You probably would. Hello. I suddenly spotted Shiratori with the corner of my eye. Hey. She barely even looked at me. A couple of us are going to Tsubaki's house tonight. You want to come too?
遠慮しておくわ。
Don't say that. It'd be fun to have a little get-together. We're going to have a big nab party as a family. Come on, what do you say? I feel like I should know what a nab party is. I know I've heard that term before, but I don't know what it is. And don't worry, no one will have to explain it to me. I got Google for that.
授業始まるわよ。
She turned around to leave. Hey, hold on a second. Why do you hate me so much?
あなた、自分がどういう人間なのか自覚していないのね。
What kind of person I am?
あなたの裏の顔を知ったら、一緒に鍋パーティーなんてしたがるかしら。
Probably not. Don't be like that. You want to make everyone leave me by telling them about my true self.
あなたは本当に友達を友達として見てるの？
God, this girl just doesn't quit. Let me ask you something, Shiratori. Have I wronged you in some way?
え？
Perhaps I do have a dark side, one that I wish to hide. Does that affect you negatively in any way? Of course it doesn't. Shiratori's just afraid of me. It's not like I'm going to eat you. Let's be friends, okay? I reached out my hand courteously.
いや、
Friendship denied. Absolute rejection. Even her back was visibly angry. Jeez. What the hell did I do wrong? By the time class ended, the sun had already started to set.
本当にうちに来るんだよね。
Are you that against it? After we walked out the school gate, Tsubaki kept mumbling to herself.
今日は浅井くんがお家に来ます。驚きの一日になりそうです。
Did you call your parents?
さっき学園の公衆電話で。
Did they say anything?
すごい嬉しそうだった。お父さんがお母さんに赤飯を炊けとか言ってた。
I wonder what red rice tastes like. I never had that before. In fact, I didn't even know that was even a thing. What kind of family is that? There were many things I wanted to ask about Tsubaki's father. What does your dad do for a living?
いつも畑にいるよ。
Yeah, that pretty much answers my earlier question. Basically, you probably make your whole livelihood around that land, that property that we're trying to get you off of. So, if we do that, there goes your livelihood. Oh, he grows vegetables?
リンゴとか。
Oh, this is the first time I've heard about this. Has he always been a farmer?
おじいちゃんもひいおじいちゃんもずっとやってたんだって。
Yeah, I pretty much kind of hit the nail on the head, it seems. Family-owned farming business. The man runs an apple orchard. I was wondering why this particular piece of land was so big. It's a whole field of apple trees. I get the feeling we'll have to compensate them for each individual apple tree when they move out. We might end up having to arrange for them to get substitute farmland. Yet even though all this would certainly raise the compensation costs, I can't imagine it would sum up to match the value they were already offered. Thus, the reason why they won't move is... I see. So this land has been in your family for generations.
お父さんもお母さんも愛着あるみたいなんだ。
There you have it. Human attachment. Something that money just simply can't buy. They simply don't want to move from the place they're comfortable with. A very simple and very obvious reason.
でも最近ね、引っ越してくださいって言われてるみたいなんだ。
A very sticky situation indeed. This isn't an issue of money.
お父さんは断固拒否してるんだけどね。営業の人もなかなか諦めないみたいで。
Seems like you're in a bit of trouble. Perhaps I can help you with this?
浅井くんが？
Didn't I tell you that I work for my dad? I know a few professional surveyors and asset managers.
ほんと？すごいな、浅井くんは。頼りになるな。
Tsubaki's face blushed brightly, like an apple. Also, let me talk a bit with your dad.
私からもお願いするよ。お父さんも土地とか権利とか難しい話はよくわからないらしくて困ってるの。
It'd be great if I could help out. I smiled brightly. A highly calculated smile.
ここだよ。
Nice little place you got. I like it. We rode the subway all the way to the Eastern District. Tomanbetsu City is divided into 9 districts. The Eastern District is the most rural one. The whole place is farms and greenhouses as far as the eye can see. but on the road. Huge freight trucks and excavators busily and mercilessly work to clear the land. The development is progressing. Are Eiichi and Usami going to be coming?
お家の住所は教えておいてよ。
I wonder what they're here to do.
みんな一緒の方が楽しいよ。
Forget Eiichi for a second. Usami's presence is the one that kind of bothers me. In that case, let's go in.
ちょっと待って。
Tsubaki stopped me.
H 君と宇佐美さんが来るのを待ってからにしない？
Huh? But didn't they say they'd be late?
それまでどこかで時間を潰してればいいんじゃないかな。
Where?
公園とか。
And do what?
ブランコ。
Are you serious? You got a problem with swings, boy?
滑り台でもいいよ。
Come on now. You got a problem with slides, boy?
ごめん、かくれんぼの方が良かった？
This is just ridiculous. Do you only play kids' games? You're no fun.
ゲームとかもするんだよ。
Ooh? What kind? Alright. Sounds good to me. And to do that, we need to get inside. So let me in already. Not unless you got a Game Boy!
ちょっと待って。
Although I don't remember what year this... I don't even know what year this story takes place in. Maybe it's around the same time that the game itself was originally released, because, you know, regular cell phones and all that, so I'd say probably mid-2000s, around that time. Could be wrong about the release date, though. Again, I really don't remember how old this game actually is. Anyway, so, yeah, depending on what year this story takes place, maybe she might have a PSP or something. No matter how you look at it, she clearly doesn't want me to visit her home.
浅井君に迷惑かかるよ。
And playing hide and seek outside in the winter cold won't be a headache?
だって勘違いされちゃうよ。
Misunderstood how?
うちの家族の勢いすごいから。
I don't really understand what you're getting at. By overbearing, do you mean the very critical and overly stern kind? Because if that's the case, I feel bad for you already.
みんなで一斉に勘違いされちゃうよ。
Oh, for God's sake. I pushed Tsubaki aside and crossed the house's threshold. Hey! You weren't invited in!
わかったよ、わかったから。せめていいよって言うまで待ってよ。
Right. What are you trying to hide?
じゃあ待っててね。気が
Tsubaki hurried inside. I waited a bit. No, I waited a lot. Serves you right, asshole. You can come in now. Tsubaki's voice finally came from inside the house. Thanks. Upon entering, an uproar of voices immediately greeted me.
あ、来た来た。
How lively.
彼氏も来たか？
Sounds like you got quite a big family.
浅井君、ちょっと待ってって。
Tsubaki yelled from behind me. However, as if drawn to the noise, I went ahead and took off my shoes. Thanks for inviting me. Let's see here. We got... Fucking hell, 5 children! Oh my god. How are you not prematurely balding yet, both of you? Her parents, I mean. a sec.
彼氏だ
Yep. They all look almost exactly the same. We got none of them who look like their daddy at all.
おお、これはなかなかのイケメンじゃないか。
お姉ちゃんやる彼氏かっこいいお姉ちゃんご飯
An incredible number of gazes.
彼氏名前なんての
おい、ひろあき。それはパパが聞きたいんだ。
さあさあ座って座って寒かったでしょ。
ご飯まだ
1, 2, 3, 4. Huh? 5. Don't you know how to count, bro?
ごめんね言ってなかったっけ
Wait a minute. What's with this crazy number?
おい、椿。お父さんに紹介しなさい。
Her father lightly tapped his slightly bulging belly. Well, I'm... Just as I was going to say my name...
こらチロミ
うわ切ったね
椿。
お父さんお行儀悪いですよ。
I had mixed feelings about this. On one hand, this entire scene is so wholesome. But on the other hand, I feel horrible for Tsubaki because, Jesus Christ, living in a house full with 4 other siblings, besides you, I cannot begin to imagine what that's like. I looked to Tsubaki for help.
みんなちょっと静かにしてよ姉ちゃん僕お腹すいたよ
もうこの子ったら
お姉ちゃんご飯
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, I think maybe perhaps stop having some would be a good first step. I mean, 5 is already well above the average as far as I'm concerned. The noise just wouldn't stop. Excuse me! Since they weren't making any progress on their own, I tried raising my voice. Suddenly, a soup spoon flew toward me.
こら
Excuse me.
ビエーン
What the? Well, don't just stand there looking like an envelope without an address on it, you dingus. Return fire. This time it's a chopstick.
こら、お前たち。椿の彼氏になんてことを。
Starting World War III, son.
彼氏じゃないよお父さん
Tsubaki sounded flustered. I see. Now I know why Tsubaki didn't want me to come.
ビエーン
The second chopstick hit my face.
もうみんな落ち着いてよ
Please don't. I like the mental image of this guy getting hit with chopsticks. At this moment, the doorbell rang.
お邪魔します
It's Eiichi.
はいはいいらっしゃいあが
すごい人数ちょっとなんすかこれ大家族スペシャル
Sure feels like one. Population density in the room increased once more. The arrivals of Asami and Eiichi.
だから嫌だったんだよ
I want to go home.
ごちそうさました
Well. I mean, to tell you the truth, I didn't even think to wonder whether or not Tsubaki even had any siblings at all. Honestly, I guess if there was any kind of mental image I was forming in my head regarding her home life, I was assuming that she was just a single child, but no! Oh no. I was dead wrong about that, it would seem. And now it looks like we've wandered into a family sitcom, as Usami so eloquently put it. But as much as I'd like to continue to see where this what this family sitcom will put us through, I think I'm going to save that for the next episode, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut things off here. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode of The Devil on G-String. If you did and you want to see more content from me, feel free to subscribe to my channel. I will see you all next time. Take care.